Hey guys, thanks for checking out Euclid Mining. Today we're going to be doing the RTX 3060 LHR 8GB GPU build out. Now the frame that I'm going to be using is an 8 GPU frame. I've ordered 5 GPUs. They all haven't come in, but we have a couple of them and all the other parts have shown up. Most all the other parts have shown up, and we'll get into that in a second. And we want to go ahead and just go over all of our parts first, and I want to show you what we did here. Now if you've checked out my other videos, you know I've got the RTX 3060 Ti LHR 8GB GPU rig. That's the $1 million Ravencoin mining rig. And if you saw that we did that extender in there, we have 6 GPUs, and now we've added a 7th, and we have an 8th coming in the mail, and that will fill up that entire frame. But today we're going to be doing the RTX 3060 build. And the reason I want to do that one is because of all the unlocking that's been going on with these 3060 cards, and more updates have come out, and it's been going up and up. It's gone 60, 70, 80. Some people say fully unlocked, but they are getting better and better, and I wanted to give that a shot on Ethereum and Ravencoin, see which one is mining more profitable, and go from there. So as always, you know, when we do anything mining related, we always need the proper equipment to get started. So I want to introduce his debut here on the Euclid Mining channel, Bit. All right, thank you very much, Bit. And now that we have the proper equipment to get started, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera over, and Bit is going to help me introduce some of the parts that we have. Now here's the board that we're using. So we'll start with the board. And the board that we're using, I have it right here. It's the MSI MPG Z390 Gaming Edge motherboard. Now the reason I chose this board is because it supports 6 GPUs, and reviews that I've read is that it can go up to 8. So how does it go up to 8 without using one of those extenders that I used in my last video, which I'll have a link in the description below, little shameless plug. What it has is that it has the M.2 extenders, has one here and here. So with those 2 extenders, I can add in another slot. You can add more of these slots in there by doing that. You could put a hard drive on that. You could put a lot of different accessories onto a board with that. For ours, we're going to be using the one that has the extra slots. Now, because I don't have all the GPUs for it, I don't have that with me yet. It should be here tomorrow, but we're going to go ahead and do this full build out, and then tomorrow I'll add those M.2 adapters. I will do an updated video, part 2 to this, when I get the rest of the GPUs, the M.2, and everything else I got going on, but that's where we're at on that. Now, for the processor, I've gone ahead and already put that on here. Now, when you do your processor, there are little notches on the processor itself on the sides. Sometimes it has a little arrow on the corner, and then on the board itself, it'll have a little arrow on one of the 4 corners on the GPU board connector, and that's where that goes. This one has 2 little notches on either side of the chip, and then on the actual board where you place it on there, there's 2 pieces that have 2 little sections that stick out, so like this and like this, so that they only can fit in a certain way. Don't force it in there. There really is a certain way this goes in. If you screw that up, you're going to have some real problems. So we've got that in there, and the processor that we're using is the Intel Core i3 9100F 4-core. Now, we could have gone with a lesser CPU, but I wanted to make sure, you know, for the price point, for getting Celeron compared to this, the price was very close when I found them, and I thought I would go with something a little bit stronger just in case I wanted that extra power. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the RAM. So, thank you, Bit. The RAM that we're going to be using today is the Corsair Vengeance. It's the LPX 16 GB. Now, I've got 2 cards, and of course, you know, you really only need 4 gigs to do any real mining with. 8 gigs is something that I've been using on my builds. Does it really matter? No. A lot of the big-time miners, they want to build a rig cheap. You want to do it for as little money as possible. I found a really good deal on this. Both of these chips together cost me about $55. If I had just bought one, it was about $35. And I know that I want to do another rig build, so I bought the 2-pack for $55. And with that, I could save one of these, and I can put one here, and I could save the other one for the next rig I'm going to build, and that'll save me a little money down the road. For today, we'll probably install them both just to show you how to install them, and we'll get there. The next thing we're going to talk about is the fan that's going to go on top of the CPU. Now, I went ahead and just got your standard Intel fan. It's no frills, nothing exciting. Now, when you use this, you're going to want to go ahead and put a little thermal paste on top of the CPU, and then put the fan on top of that. Since this is a new fan, it comes with the paste on it. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to try and see some of that shadow. You can see that thermal paste on there. I don't know if you can see that. 1, 2, 3 little strips of it. And that's got plenty on there for what you need. So I'm just going to untangle this wire off of here, and then we'll connect that down. So that's the next piece we're using. The other thing we're going to be talking about is power supplies. So, just one. Thank you, Bit. So here we go. So what we're using here is a 1200 watt HP power supply. Now this is 1200 watt if you're plugging it into a 220 outlet. If you're plugging this into a regular outlet at your wall, it will only go up to about 800 watts. So I have 2 of these, and here is number 2. Thank you. So we have both of these. Now this is a switching power supply, and again, each one of these is 800 watts when we plug it into a regular wall outlet. If you've seen my other videos, I do have a 30 amp outlet up here in the mining exercise room. And so I am able to utilize that full 1200 watts off of this. Typically, if you plug this into, like I said, a regular outlet, you only get about 800 watts. So I'm going to have to tell you all right now, I am not an electrician. I don't want you plugging these into your wall and pulling too much power, blowing out your something in your breaker box in the garage or wherever your box is in the basement, and or burning your house down. Like I've said in my other videos, your wife probably will not be happy, or your parents will not be happy about you burning down their house. So talk to an electrician. Make sure that your outlets are able to pull the amount of watts that you're going to need to pull when you're building out a rig of this size. When this has full 8 GPU on here, this is going to be pulling a lot of power. So with that 30 amp outlet, I'm able to plug this in, and the other $1 million Ravencoin mining rig, and several other, and I won't even have to worry about power. I have more than enough power up here to plug all of these in. But this is 1200 watts when you have it plugged into an outlet like I have. If you plug it into your standard outlet, it will only give you 800 watts. But even if I had both of these hooked into a regular outlet, that'd still be 1600 watts, which is way too much to pull out of a regular household outlet. You'll definitely blow part of your breaker out, if not burn your house down. So don't do it. Check with your electrician, make sure you're able to pull that capacity. But these are the power supplies we're going to use. And with these power supplies, you say, but how is this going to power the board? Well, if you've seen my other video, which I'll have a link in the description below, shameless plug, you will see how these work. So for argument's sake, we will show you right now, and I will take the breakout board. So the breakout board, which is something comes from Parallel Miner. Now I'm working on getting an affiliate link for them. Thanks. I love Parallel Miner. I don't get any I don't make any money from this, y'all. I recommend them because of how great they've been to me. Whenever I have a question, they get back to me within 2 days. They're super, overwhelmed with questions and probably short-staffed like everybody else in the country. And but they do get back to you, and they're really good about answering your question. They'll put links in the email to show you the parts if they think there's a part they want to suggest to you. They're really good, so check them out. I will have a link in the description below. Eventually, I may have an affiliate link, and if you want to use it, that'd be super awesome. You know that I don't advertise on my channel, but if I get into some affiliate links, that might be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see. But this is the breakout board. So how this works is that when you buy this particular breakout board, it comes with 2 extra wires, and the first wire I'm going to show you is this one. So let's put the breakout board here, and they send you this wire right here. So with this one, it's got this side here goes into the breakout board, and that goes right into the ATX slot right here, and that will power for that. So we could just do that one-handed, and we're not doing too well with that, so we'll just pretend that I just plugged that in there. And once that's plugged in there, then you have these two wires on the other side. So you've got a split 4-pin, which can make that into an 8-pin if your motherboard needs the full 8-pin, or if it needs just a 4-pin or 8-pin. This board over here does have an 8-pin connector, so we are going to plug the secondary power into here, and then of course the main power goes into the motherboard right down here, and that goes in that slot. And then I'm sorry, I've got that backwards. This one goes in here, and we'll do that. And then the 8-pin, once I put those back together again, I always fight these stinking things. And oh, look at that, I did it in one try on the video too. Usually takes me 10 tries, and the video's like 3 hours long because of that. And we take this one and we plug that one right into the motherboard right down there, so that we have our primary and secondary, and then this one goes into the breakout board right over here like that. The breakout board plugs right into here. Now when you buy these breakout boards from Parallel Miner and you buy yourself a power supply, they have been selling out of these power supplies, so it's been very difficult to get them from them. But the breakout boards, they have plenty of. If you get a breakout board, I'm telling you, you're going to want to look on the compatibility list, and you're going to want to make sure that you get a power supply that's compatible with that, because if you don't, well, you could burn out your board, you could burn out the breakout board. The breakout board is like $75, and you can burn that out, you can burn your board out. Who knows what it might do to your GPUs? So please, look at the model number of these power supplies. They should be switching power supplies, and they have the model number. When you go to Parallel Miner and you look up these boards, you will see a compatibility list for 750 watts, 1000 watt, 1100 watt, 1200 watt, and so on, and it'll tell you the compatibility list. And you're going to want to go ahead and find that exact model and then buy that one. Now these boards are compatible with several different models for each wattage, 750, 1000, 1200. There are 8 or 10 compatible models, so you only have to find obviously one of those numbers that match up on here, and you're good to go. I will put a link to Parallel Miner, to the breakout board, and to their power supplies. Like I said, they are normally sold out of these because their setups are super popular. Next thing we're going to talk about real quick is that we're going to be putting Hive OS on this computer and on this rig. And I'm going to probably do that either with a thumb drive, or I'm going to use a hard drive, which is that right there. Thank you, Bit. Okay. So this is just a SanDisk standard 120 gig hard drive. You know, these things sell for, you know, $30 or less. No frills, nothing exciting about this, just something real simple. And we can load Hive OS right onto here without even having an operating system as far as Windows goes. And we can put Hive OS as our operating system, as our OS, and that'll be awesome. I have been using a thumb drive to do a lot of these things. So either way, whatever you're more comfortable with. I think I have an extra thumb drive somewhere. I may just use a thumb drive, but we will use Etcher, and I will show you how to put Hive on here as well. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the risers. So, risers. I've got a couple of those. And Bit, do you have any risers for me?
My nose.
What's this one here?
Yeah.
That one? Oh, look at that. Thank you, sir. So I've got some risers. So it's got the 4 capacitor. It does have the Molex connection. It has the 6-pin and a 6-pin in the back. Now, I have been wanting to do a video on connections, whether it's the Molex, whether it's the SATA, or the 6-pin, and I really want to go over that. In short of that video, I guess, spoiler alert, don't use the Molex, don't use the SATA. They don't carry enough power to the riser, and it can cause problems down the road. Overheating, burnt out connections, burn out the riser. And though riser may only be $10 and they're not super expensive, when you're talking about several of them, $10, $10, these things add up and they cost a lot of money, and you don't want to go through that. Now, some other components on this riser that you're going to want to deal with is that how do we connect that to the breakout board? Well, when you buy the breakout board, it does give you an option to get some of these extra wires. So we've got a 6-pin on one end, and we have a 6+2 on the other end, just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug one end of this into our breakout board, like that. Oops, get that there. And then on the back of the riser, what I have is I have a splitter. Now these splitters, I'm going to show you one of those. What it is that it's got the female side here for the 6-pin, and on the other side it has a 6+2 and another 6+2, and we can go ahead and attach those together if we want. Let's see. Again, I never have, oh, look at that, I did it again. All right, so you have the two. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and separate one of them, and we're going to be able to plug that straight into the riser here. And that way we have the proper power with one of these 6 pins. This 8-pin will go into the GPU, and then over here we have the splitter, and all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and split this 8+2 and make that down to a 6-pin like that, and we can go ahead and connect that one as well. So there you go. So that goes to the breakout board, that goes to the splitter goes to the riser, and then we have the 8-pin that goes to the GPU. So as you see, that's all pretty straightforward and easy to do. Not a whole lot of excitement there. There is one more wire I was going to show you that comes with the breakout board. When you buy this particular breakout board, it does come with this wire here, but it also comes with another one. This one here, there is a slot on the breakout board for a Molex connection, and that is right over here next to the ATX, and you'll plug that in, and on the other side of it, it has a Molex and a SATA connection. These are not for risers. Do not plug your risers into here and think they're going to work. This will burn out because I've done it. I didn't realize that's what they weren't for when I first started messing around with these breakout boards, and I burnt out these wires. So these are for hard drives, CD-ROM, like I said, a hard drive or any external device that you want to use. But that's all this is for. So if we did use a hard drive, we would go ahead and plug it in here like that, and then we'd have that action. Like I said, if we want to use a thumb drive, then we're not going to need to use this wire at all. But it does come with the set. So like I said, when you buy the breakout board, this particular one with the ATX support on it, you do get this wire and you'll get this wire. Again, link in the description below for that one. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'm just going to get all the parts and components all lined up here on the desk, and we are going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to start putting this together. Well, I almost forgot the most important part, the stars of the show, and these are them right here. So this is the 3060 RTX. It's the XC version. This is the LHR. So this is one of them. Now, like I said, I have ordered a couple, and they all haven't come in, but I do have two of them, and this is another 3060, except this one is a non-LHR. So we are going to be going ahead and trying out both of these cards for now. I do have several more coming. I have one more of them right down here. This one is also an LHR as well. So we have 3 of them total. Unfortunately, I did not get my risers in yet, and I only have 2 risers available. I've got another dozen coming in the mail, and along with the M.2 slots that I need to fill up as well. They'll be here tomorrow. These will be here, the risers will be here probably on Monday, so I'll be able to add the rest of those, or not the rest, the one more card, And then I do have 2 more cards coming in the mail. And then, of course, I do have that one more RTX 3060 Ti LHR coming. I'm going to put in that $1 million Ravencoin mining rig. So anyway, let's get into this and let's see what we got going on. So first things first, let's get the fan hooked up. So let's take the fan right here, and we're going to go ahead and just unwind this wire that is on here. Just want to be careful I don't hit that thermal paste. So we're just going to unwind that a little bit. And let's see where the connector is. The connector is over here for the fan. It's right down here. So I am going to want to make sure I have enough room. If I do that, it probably, I don't know if it'll reach. So I think we'll go in this direction. That way I have plenty of room to reach that. And we are just going to go ahead and set this down on top. Once we have that on there, we are going to go ahead and lock these into place. These pieces here just twist about a half a turn. So I'm just going to get in here. I think I'm going to try that with my screwdriver. Don't think that one. Yep. That is not locking in. Okay, that is in there nice and snug now. You know, I mean, I could edit all that out, but you know, we're going to run into problems along the way, everybody. You know, things don't just always clip in as well or as fast as we hope, and that's just how it is. So you can always skip ahead, or if you don't like that, I guess you can find other videos, but you know, that's just really how it is sometimes. Not everything is perfect. All right, and then there's the fan. Probably just have that tucked right around that corner. Actually, that might be hitting that wire, so I am not going to do that. I'm just going to pinch that wire and have it off to the side. Next thing we can go ahead and put in is some RAM. So let's go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to drop both of these sticks in here. But traditionally, you don't need this much RAM to put into a mining rig. 4 gigs is usually more than enough. We're going to go ahead and put in the 8 and the 8. Like I said, I got it for a really good price, so I'm not going to argue, you know, with that. I'm just going to go ahead and get those in. So let's just make sure we have them in the correct slots. And these are usually labeled. 1. So this one here. Okay, that's the first one. And then number 2. Again, you don't need this much RAM, but we are going to put it in anyway, just because. So, awesome. So we've got that set up. I'm going to take this breakout board and power supply and just flip it around. Now, these do have extra holes on the frame, as you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a little zip tie over top of this just to hold it in place, and I'll have the second one over here, and I'll throw a zip tie around that also just to kind of hold it in place. So if I ever move the rig around, they're not going to be shifting, you know, because they will slide around. There really is nothing that's built nowadays that'll really accommodate these. These aren't really meant for these types of setups. These are server power supplies. They're meant for enterprise servers and in a larger area now. All right, now we've got both of those hooked up. We've got the both the RAM, we've got the fan, CPU. Obviously, we've got the paste that was already there, so we're good with that. So I'm going to put that over here. Now what we can do is go ahead and connect our motherboard, and we're going to go ahead and plug this in. So again, these are the wires that come from Parallel Miner when you buy this particular breakout board. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just get off the screen here. You don't need to see me, do you? I know I'm handsome, beautiful, but today you'll be checking out this. I think this is why you're here, not for me. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up. So first things first, let's go ahead and plug the motherboard in. So we will just go ahead and drop this one right here. And I think these are like one of the most amazing things I have added to the lineup since I've started working with these. If you saw my first video with these power supplies, I used to be deathly afraid of these. They just seem so high tech and so far away from what I was doing. But now that I've learned to understand them and use them, I love them. I think they are the easiest things. I think for the price, compared to buying a power supply for, you know, $350 for a power supply, I could buy, maybe $200 worth of, look, if I just bought one of these in the breakout board, I'm talking $75 for this. I'm talking $75 for this. And, I'm really set. I have 800 watts here. If I have the power outlet like I have, I've got 1200 watts right here, and a breakout board with the RTX support, and for any other hard drives or anything else I want to plug in for here, plus plenty of slots for any GPU. You buy some of these motherboards, you may have to get a splitter or something. I mean, look at all the slots that I have in here. I could do anything. If I want to have secondary fans, if I want to line this front piece up with fans, I've got all of this set up for fans. Let me slide that over so you can see that a little better. You can see all the different connectors that are in here for fans. This is amazing. Now, once I have the other breakout board for this side, there is one more wire that comes with this. It will connect right here. Let me move this out of the way. It connects right here on the breakout board, this little one here, and it daisy chains from here to the other breakout board that'll be back here. And then that way, whenever you click the power button on this, it turns them both on together. When I hit the power button here, it turns them both off. Same thing over here. If I have the power switch on this one, I can click power. It'll turn them both on. If I hit power over here, it turns them both off. So, and any variation in there, power on, power off, or anything you want. And I think that's great. So you can daisy chain them together so you don't have to click one and then the other. They will work as one unit. I think that's really super cool. So we've got that one set up right there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this one here and we are going to plug this right into this breakout board. And we're going to go find that and plug that in. And of course, you want to make sure that all of your connections are snug across, that there is no gap in the connection. I'm just going to take this power supply and put it over here for now. We're not going to be using it right now for this build. We just won't need it right now. Now it does have these extra wires here, you know. What you can do is I just go ahead and tuck that under here. And once this is all set in, all of these wires will just tuck away nice and easy. I do need to do some cable management on my $1 million Ravencoin mining rig. I do need to move that around a little bit. As you see, this does slide around. That is, I guess, one of the negative about this device is that there's no way to really mount this down. On this side, there aren't any extra holes. I thought about putting some holes in this frame before I put all this together, and I didn't. I was going to drill one on each side and then throw that zip tie across it just to hold it into place. But once this rig is in where it's going, it's not like I'm picking this thing up and flipping it around and running through the house with it. It just sits where it sits, and you don't have to do much. So, all right. Now that we've got that, let's see. What else am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything? I think they got the fan, they got this. Power is hooked up. So theoretically, all of this should be working. We can plug this in, and this should post. Now, I want to go ahead and put the cards in here, but while I was doing that, there is a second piece that comes with this frame. Again, this is the 8 GPU mining frame. There is a bar that the GPUs sit on, and let's clear that off. And that goes right here, and that gets a couple screws. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. I didn't put that down in the beginning only because I knew I'd be working in here and it would be in my way. So I just went ahead and left it off for now. But now that we have everything hooked up, where's my Phillips head? Flathead doesn't work so well on that. So now that we've got all of that hooked up, we can go ahead and screw this bar in. And this is what the GPUs will sit on. This is a pretty good frame. The only thing I don't like about this frame is that the fan section is in the front, and if you want to add fans to this, I would imagine you'd want them in the back because the air is being blown out in this direction. So if you had fans here, I guess you could have them so they're sucking the air out, but you'd think that you'd want them in the back blowing air in to have extra cooling or more airflow, rather than just pulling the hot air off the front, which is not a bad one either. But I would think that you'd want them in the back, blowing more air in, so you're really pushing that air through the rig. But you know, again, this one I have used before, and it is right in my price point. I believe this frame was about $50. If you give me a second, I'll tell you real quick what I spent on this frame. Total with shipping and tax, I paid $60.99. So I spent $61 on this frame. You know, I can't say I've got any problems with it. I use this for the 6 GPU frame. I've got 2 of those, and this makes my second 8 GPU frame. So the Ethereum miners that I have, I've got those 2, and they both have the 6 GPU frame, and then the $1 million Ravencoin miner, and then this one have the 8 GPU frame. So anyway, now that we have that locked into place, what we're going to do is we are going to open up some cards, So let's get some cards. Let's see, is that the top? All right. So you probably don't need to see me opening all this up, but here we go. So I'll deal with that later. And that. And that. And this one. All right, so we've got it right here. The package didn't seem as sealed as it normally is, and but it was sealed shut, so it is new. I was just looking for any signs of any wear that might be on it, and I was just checking that out. Looks like it's good to go though. So let's go ahead and plug this in. So we go ahead and drop that in there. We go ahead and push the locking slot on that. And we will take a screw and we will just start down here. And put this in right here. So you probably can't see. I guess we'll start down here on this end so you can see it as I go. Let's go ahead and put that one right there. Alright. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. Let me just go check on this. Hey guys, you know, I paused the video because I was going to hook this in, but, you know, it looked funny. Only because I bought a card a while back, and I bought a 3060, and I didn't want it. I wanted the 3060 Ti because I was doing that build, and I took the card, and I unfortunately had to sell it as open box. I screwed it in, I plugged it in, I realized what I had bought after the fact. Like, I didn't even notice it on the box when I opened it. Legitimately, I didn't even know it. And I was just so excited to get it going that that I just fired it up. And then I realized that it was a 3060. So I resold it on eBay, but I listed it as open box and that I had plugged it in, realized what I had done, and unplugged it. I even put on the listing showing when I had bought the card just a day before, 2 days prior, and showed that, you know, if you look at my history, I've only been buying 3060 Ti's. This was the only 3060 I had bought, and that I was sorry that I had bought that, and that now I was going to resell it. I wound up selling it for a little bit less than what I bought it for at the time. I probably should have just kept it, but I really didn't want it at that time. I wanted to keep on building that 3060 Ti, and here I am getting this card, and while I'm doing it, I noticed that the packaging that it was in was not the way that it normally comes when you get these other brand new cards. So I started looking at this. That's why I paused for a second, and I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to get in here, but can you see at the top of this oval, there's a little tiny scratch mark right there? I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's focusing up. There it is. Can you see at the top of the oval, there's a little scratch mark? That's from the screw screwing this down, and that's exactly what it is. It's the screw holding this down to a motherboard or to a frame. And again, there's no plastic on here. And also there was a protector on the bottom the way it comes, but there's usually plastic here, plastic on top, and there's always another connector, a small one, that is on the top of this that goes across the top. It's a little short one. And that wasn't there. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because that doesn't seem right. And that's why, I'll be honest with you, that's why I paused the video, because this is an open box. But I bought this as a brand new card. And it's funny that I just did this recording while I was doing this. So this is supposed to be the 3060 non-LHR card. And unfortunately, I am not even going to go ahead and try this, because I do not want to be responsible for anything about this card. This card is, I'm going to open a case up with eBay. This person actually tried to get away with it. When I investigated the box itself a little bit more, I noticed, let me go ahead and just close this a little bit so I can show it to you. When I opened it, I did cut the seal, but if you look very closely at this, it's very hard. You probably can't see it because this is miserable with the lighting. You probably can see it. Can you see the two different colors? It's a little blacker over here and a little lighter over here. That's because there's another piece of tape right over top of this. It's a little piece of Scotch tape, clear tape, that they put over top to make it appear as if it was still sealed, and they're trying to sell a bogus card. Y'all, I am so glad you are able to see this video and see what people are doing out there, that they are trying to sell cards that are used and sell them as brand new. And this is a problem out there. So I'm glad that you were able to see this. As a matter of fact, I don't even think this is a non-LHR card, to be honest with you. I think this is a regular 3060. I'm going to open up one of the other boxes we have over here. So we know this one is this card because it is the, let's see here. It is the XR. Can you see that above my finger without that crazy light shining? God, this thing sucks. There you are, the XR. So the other two that I have do not have XR. They have KB. Now, let's look at this box and the tape. Can you see how the tape looks the same across the whole thing? Where the other one, you could see it was clearly darker on one side. That was because there was a second piece of Scotch tape put across it to make it appear as if it was closed. How crazy is that, right? So let's go ahead and open this one. Yeah, this one is brand new, my friends. That guy's a scammer. We got him. We got the scammer. Man. I'll tell you, some of these people on eBay, they'd sell their own mother out if they could. I swear to you. I'll tell you, that's a reason why I do like eBay, because they are no nonsense. They do not take any garbage from people like this. And this person is trying to do it. Now, I bought this card for, what did I get this one for? I think like $675. And this one I bought for the fake I bought for $900, and he has it listed as brand new. And you can clearly see when you take these things open. I mean, you can see how nice the packaging is, how it's sealed up all perfectly. And when you open this up, I'm going to show you the inside wrapper as well, guys. This is a great little learning experience. How it's nice and tight. Everything looks really nice and new. And then in here, you can see how tight the wrapping is, how tight, and it's folded and it's perfect. And not that anybody can't do this, but when it comes from the factory, it doesn't have any extra bends in it. The sticker is perfectly sealed on there. The other one, when I was opening it, it was just a little funny, you know, like here. See, I can open this up and be real careful with it and do it gingerly. and I can save that sticker. So you can, you can fake this. I'm not faking anybody. I tell everybody the truth, and that's the truth. I can't believe that. That's Now I'm going to show you what a real card comes like. All right, y'all, here it is. So, as you can see, it has the plastic all around it. It has, what did I tell you? It has the one on the bottom and it has the one on the top. Here's that little piece of plastic. I don't know why they have it on the top piece, why they don't have it on the bottom either. But also the plastic here, whereas this one that we bought doesn't have the plastic on it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this one right here. I'm going to put this one here so you can see it as we unwrap it. So we can have this one. We have that plastic on there. We have the piece here that comes off that was not on that one. We also have the plastic that wraps around the entire unit. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick at that a little bit and get that started. As you can see, all of that plastic comes right off. Now when you do get to the front of the card, you have to be a little careful because it does get caught in there. Oh, that one came out pretty easy. Sometimes it gets caught in the little where the metal connects to the actual card. It's like they wrap these and then put this plate on afterwards. So sometimes I got to like pull the plate just a little bit just to get that wrap out of there real easy. And then you go ahead and take the bottom piece off. See that? That's on there, snug as a bug in a rug. And there it is. Now you can look at these two cards and they look almost identical. I mean, they do look identical. And what I could tell is that these raised pieces should not be on that particular card. On the non-LHR, from what I saw from a lot of pictures, it did have this E on it for the EVGA, but it wasn't raised. So that's it. So let's go ahead and flip these over so there's no mistaking this. So this is the 12G P5 3657KB, and that's it right there. We're going to put that over here, and now we're going to look at this one. Now this is the KR. It is on there. It's 12G P5 3657KR. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not plugging that card in. I'm not going to be responsible for it. It is not brand new. And I'm going to go ahead and upload this video. And I'm going to send a link to eBay and let them watch this video of me opening this fake up. And that way this guy cannot BS anybody. And I want y'all to really watch that. I mean, seriously, look at my face. F you, buddy. And I'll tell you what, I would put his name on this video if I didn't know if I would get in trouble for it or not. But I'm going to find out, and if I can put it on here, I'm going to put his name on that video so you all know exactly who's full of poop. You, Mr. Blank and blank and blank. Man, I am so pissed off. You. I am going to put this back down here. I am not even going to play that game. Man, guys, I am so glad you were here for that. I want you to, jeez, I don't want to go over any more of that. I am so angry right now. But you know what? I'm not gonna let it take away from what we're doing today. We are building an amazing rig, and this is going to be so much fun to build. And man, I really wanted to test that card. I spent that. It was a little over $900 for this card, and when I paused this video, I was writing an email back. I wrote an email already to this guy. I haven't sent it yet because now I'm going to tell him the other stuff I found, that it didn't have the plastic and everything else. I wrote, this is open box. I can see the card where it was screwed down with little scratches, and the box had a small piece of tape where it was used to reseal the box. Fraud! Exclamation point. I'm opening a ticket with eBay as you are selling used parts as new. I wrote, funny, because I have a YouTube channel and I'm doing a build with this card and others. This was the first card I opened, and I have it on camera opening it and seeing that it was used. Probably want to reword that a little bit. I was just so mad. I was just typing a million miles an hour. Man, Guys, you can fast forward through all of this rant. I am sorry. I am just fired up, and I want you to be fired up too. You'll watch it, guys. Watch it. You know, I've spent a lot of money. You know, those LHR cards, those 3060 Ti's, they're going between 800 and, you know, 825 right now, 850. When I first started buying them, I was grabbing a couple at like 775, and I was lucky. And then people started buying them because more of that LHR unlocking was becoming available. And now those same cards, they start at 825 and go up from there. So they're $50 more starting from where I first started buying them. And y'all got to stop buying my cards. But I like these cards, and they've been good to me. And they've gone up in price, $50. So now that I'm buying these cards, these are a little less, but these cards also are going up in price because more LHR unlocking is happening. So, you know, people are trying to find ways to scam people more and more. And this guy right here, man. Anyway, back to the builds. Let's do it. This is a 3060 regular LHR card. Unfortunately, I am so sorry, y'all. I so wanted to see what a non-LHR card would do. I've seen some other videos. I've done tons of reading on them, and I was so excited to splurge and buy it. It was a little bit more money, and I wanted it so bad. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it, and I got it, and man. So we put the card into the riser like this. It locks in. And then right down here, there's a little sliding clip. You can probably see it down in there. It's right here, that plastic one right there. And we're just going to go ahead and lock that into place. Let's get that. That going? Goes like that. Where's my Phillips head? It's a little easier with the Phillips head. There we go. So that little piece just slides back and forth, as you can see, and that just locks it in there. So it's in there. We've already got the USB connected from the back, and that's going to go to the connector for the board. And then again, we've got our splitter, and we've got the splitter going into the 6-pin. It's a 6+2, so that's why I have this extra one sticking out. Now, I don't want it to stick out on that side. I would hate for it to touch the fan. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of tuck that back in here in the wires so that it will just sit by itself. And then with the top one, we're going to go ahead and plug in into the 8-pin, and we're going to go ahead and lock that in. So we got the bot is locked in here. We're locked in here. We check the connections all around. We make sure USB is good. We make sure our 6-pin is good. Y'all, we are in business, and we can see the top of this. There are no little scratches around that hole, and that's the giveaway. That's what finally said it for me. When I really looked at it and I saw those scratches, I didn't see the plastic, and I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. Man, oh man, Shevitz. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that guy, but he's pretty good. Whew. I have to take a little breather here in a minute. But I'll tell you, whenever I sell something on eBay, I am no BS. I tell you how it is. You know, I let everybody know how it is. So there we go. So we've got that. Now the next part is going to be taking this wire, and I'm going to make me go away because you don't need to see how red my face is right now. I'm so angry. And we're going to plug that right into this breakout board. Now that's got the 6-pin connector right there. And we are going to go ahead and drop that in here. So we will start, tell you what we'll do. We'll start further in and we will work our way out. So let's start there. And again, we want to look at this and make sure that the connector is snug. I'm going to slide this up. Well, probably not all the way up because you can't see it. We want to make sure this connector is snug in here. We want to make sure that we can't see the white from the connection from these connectors and the black. We want to make sure that they are flat up and not, a little bent like that or a little apart. We want them to be right on top of each other and make sure that's sealed. So after you plug anything in, you double check it. And then before you turn anything on, you double check every single connection again. When wires don't touch and they kind of touch and they touch like that, they create little zaps in here, little electric pulses, and you could easily burn out a card that cost you $600, $700, $800 or more, and you will have a bad day. I promise. And I don't want you to have a bad day. So, all right, we got that hooked up. Last we got to do is hook up this to the board, and we can go ahead and feed this through over here and plug that down over here. Now you couldn't see that, so I'm going to pick that up, and that goes in right here on the board. That just goes straight into the board. So we're going to put that down there. And we've got this. We want to make sure that these breakout boards are connected firm with the power supply, so there's no gap in the connection over here. And back that up a little bit so you can see where that goes. You can see on the back of these, that gold slot. That's where you're going to be connecting, and you don't want to touch these with your fingers. You have a little oil or dirt on your finger and it gets on there, creates problems. So don't do that. Anyway, we've got that and that. I'm going to take all this garbage and get rid of that. Take these, put those in the box, and we're going to go ahead and open up the other card. So we are going to take this one. And do that. And let's check this one out. This one also looks professionally packed. It looks real nice and tight. And again, it's not that anybody couldn't repack these and make them look, beautiful. Anybody could. But they just, when I wrapped that other card up that I sold, I was trying to wrap it back up and make it look real nice again. But I couldn't get it to fold and look as good as it did from the day it came out of the factory. It must be a machine that does this because they are so uniform and they are wrapped up real nice. But, again, I didn't sell it as new. I sold it as open box, unfortunately, and as used. And I wrote in there exactly what I did. That, I plugged it in, I realized what I did, and I'm now selling it. And I also linked, like I said, the receipt from when I purchased it. Or not the receipt, but the purchase on it. Now on this one, you can see the plastic all around it. We've got the plastic on the side. We've got that little connector here. We've got one on the bottom. And again, we've got the plastic that encases the whole thing. So we are going to go ahead and peel that off. And when we get near the front, we're just going to go ahead and take that carefully because we don't want to leave any extra plastic in there accidentally because it can melt, So I'm just going to hold this down here to do it. There we go. So I was able to get that off pretty easily. Just like I said, I just kind of picked this up a little, just a hair. I mean, I'm talking just a hair. Just enough to pull that plastic out. I don't want to accidentally leave an extra piece of plastic in there that might melt. Who knows, it's going to drip on something or some problem. So anyway, I'm going to put that one over here for a second. I do have one more riser. So I'm going to grab that one. Man, those other risers, y'all, they're coming. They'll be here in another, I think they'll be here on Monday for the risers. Tomorrow, the M.2 slots will be coming in. And then, like I said, I'll do an update of all of this when I complete the full rig. I am sorry that I do not have it all together, but I don't. And that makes me a horrible YouTuber. Damn you, Euclid. All right, let's see. So I need some power. So here we go with some wires. I've got one of these. So I've got the piece that's going to go to the breakout board. So we can go ahead and plug that one in right here. Okay, that looks like it's in there nice and snug. Then on the other end here, we're going to go ahead and separate that one. And we're going to put it into this slot here. So this is the splitter. So we're going to put that there. And then from there, we come out with two of them. This one will go to the GPU. This one's already split. And that one will go to the riser. So we're going to go ahead and connect that one right there. And that's going to go right inside of here. So now we've got the riser hooked up. We can put that one right over here and get that ready for the GPU. I'm going to take the little plastic piece off the bottom. And we're just going to go ahead and want to make sure we open the lock. So there's that little sliding lock again right there. And we're going to make sure it's pulled back. And we're going to take the GPU and just go ahead and drop it in. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and slide the lock. So the lock is in. We're good. We're going to take the other wire that we have here. And we're going to plug the top. And make sure the power is plugged in. Nice and snug again. And we're going to come over onto this side. And we're going to put one right here. Now I'm going to put some space in between these. I'm going to move this one down a little bit. Let me go ahead and tilt the camera up a little bit. Excuse me. So I'm going to tilt that up. Let me grab a screw. I'm going to give a little space. There's no reason to have these things layered on top of each other while I'm doing this. So this will give a little more space and for airflow for now. So let's go ahead and screw that on there. All right. I have some trash. And we will put these pieces back in that box. Man, this guy, what a scammer. What a scammer. All right, and we got to do is we got to hook this into the back of this one here. So we've got that. And we're going to put that into the secondary slot. So let's go ahead and feed that one around and drop that one right in here. And we've got that one right there. I'm going to make sure those are firmly seated on the board. So we've got two GPUs. We've got the breakout board plugged into the 1200 watt HP power server power supply. We've got the i3 processor with the fan and the thermal paste down. The fan is plugged in. The breakout board is plugged into the RTX power supply with the secondary power over here. And then what else do I have? I've got the two GPUs going into the first two slots on the board. I'm sorry, you probably didn't need to see me itching my armpit there. Welcome to Euclid Mining. Next thing we're going to do, y'all, is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put a flash drive on this thing. I like using the flash drives. The hard drives I use for Windows, and I've got a couple of them. I've got, 2 or 3 brand new hard drives that I bought just for backups and whatnot. But I've been using the flash drives for this. I much prefer it. So I'm going to go ahead with that same thing. I think I've got one more USB stick around here. I'm going to have to look for it. So I am going to pause the video, and I am going to go ahead and look for that and see if I could find it. Hello. I'm going to see if I can find that little USB. It's in one of these bins over here. Also, the wife just called. She is visiting some family, and she just called because my son usually goes to bed around this time. He's probably getting close to it, so she's calling to say goodnight to everyone. So give me a minute, y'all. I'm going to pause it right here. I'm going to find that USB. I'm going to call the missus, and then I'll be back, and we're going to wrap this up. We're going to plug this in. We're going to use Etcher. We're going to load HiveOS. We're going to add a rig to the farm. I'm going to show you how to do that in HiveOS. We're going to do a little bit of overclocking. We are going to we're going to see which miner has the best unlocking right now for these cards. So we're going to get that going, and we're going to test it. Maybe we'll test 2 different mining software through HiveOS. I don't know if we'll have the time. But we got a lot more to go, so sit tight. I'm going to be right back. Smoke if you got them. See you in a minute. All right, y'all. So we have the rig built up, and now we're going to go to Etcher to download this. This is what's going to be used to flash the image of HiveOS to the flash drive. So I have just a little USB stick that I'm going to be using. I know we talked about using that hard drive, but the USB stick's a little easier in my opinion. You can do it either way, but you go ahead and download here and install it. Once you have it installed, you can also come over here to HiveOS and click on install and scroll down till you come to GPU and click on zip. It is a couple gigs, so it's going to take a minute to download. I've already got it downloaded here. So we're going to start Etcher, and we've got that here, and we're going to flash it from a file. So we'll choose the Hive, then we select the target. We are going to use the SanDisk. This is the USB drive that I have. We'll select that one, and then we just simply click flash. Windows is going to ask us if that's okay. Yes, it is okay, and it is going to start. And here it is. So it's working right now. It says about 6 minutes or so, 5 minutes. So I'm just going to pause the video because I don't think you need to sit with me for 5 minutes and watch this flash. So once that finishes, I'll bring it back up and I'll show you exactly what it looks like when it finishes. It will flash it, and then it will run a check on it. Now you don't have to run the system check after it does it. It'll be checking all the files. I let it run just for argument's sake. I've never stopped it and not done the check. It takes about a minute longer, and I just let it run. I don't know. But that's it. So I will see you in about 5 minutes and, I don't know, a couple seconds. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I unpaused it just for this last part. This is what I was talking about. It goes through this part right here. You can click skip and skip that. I've never skipped it. I've always let it run through. It takes a couple more minutes, but I guess it just checks the file structure and any of the files that were loaded up. Oh, there it is. It's going through its check. So anyway, I'm going to pause it again, and when it's done, I will show you how to load this into your rig. And we'll do that in just a second. Alright guys, we're back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that USB. I took it out. Now that we've done it with the Etcher, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. Probably here. Alright, so as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and flip over. When you plug it in, it's going to give you a bunch of errors. You're just going to hit cancel. Okay, hit cancel. Cancel. And here we are. Now, I'm just going to go ahead. This is what's on there now, and you need to create, if you have right here, it comes with one for an example. It tells you what you'll need, your farm hash, your password, your worker name, rig ID, so on and so forth. But the easy way around that, I'm just going to move this out of the way for now. What we're going to do is we will come in here and we will click on this one. Now, I kind of set one up earlier, but I'm going to do it again. We're just going to click on the plus. We're going to add a worker, and we're going to be adding one of our rigs. We're going to connect to the existing because we already have the account. And now I'm going to have to blurb all this out, but here's the information that it's going to want you to put in when you start up your rig with the USB. There is another way you can do this that'll make it a little bit easier, in my opinion. If you go to settings, again, I'm going to have to blur a lot of this out. But if you look right here, you can see the rig.conf, and this file right here, if you take that and you click on it, you can see down here it's downloading it. And then once that's done downloading, you can go ahead and open up your downloads, and there it is right there, the rig.conf. All you're going to do, let me just move this out of the way, is that you're going to right click copy and then come over here and paste it. Now I've already done it, and there it is right there. And what that does is that it goes ahead and it takes all of your information that you need, all of those lines of information that it wanted, and it's going to save them all into the file already, pre-make it, and then you just put it onto your flash drive, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. You can go ahead and close this. Again, I'm going to have to blur all this out, but this is what you're going to want right here. And then also it's going to ask you to see exclamation point because it doesn't have a flight sheet. So we're going to click on flight sheet, and we'll go to our list. Now again, I have several flight sheets that I have made up, but we're going to make one together. And we're going to go here. We're going to be doing Ethereum. We're going to choose our Exodus wallet for testing. And so for this example, I am going to choose Hive, and we'll just choose USA. There we go, and we'll apply that. And then your miner, this is your preference, what you like to use. I'm going to use NB Miner for this one. Now down here, and I've liked NB Miner. There's, LOL Miner and T-Rex, and they all have been doing some amazing work getting these LHR unlocks. I'm going to be using NB Miner. But what we can do here in the flight sheet name, as you come down here, you can see, I put Exodus, 2 miners, and T-Rex. This is for one. I was going to be doing a dual mining video, and I started one up here. This is Exodus, Hive, and 2 miners. That's not right. That's LOL Miner should be there, not 2 miners. That's LOL Miner. But I try to keep a naming convention in here for what I'm doing. So in here, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it test 1 because I already had a test in there. We'll just do that for creating the flight sheet. And there we are. Now we have test 1. So we can go back to the workers, and we can see the rig is here. It's missing the flight sheet, so we'll click on it. We'll click on flight sheet. We'll go to our list, and we will put in test 1. And we can go like this. Oops, I guess we actually have to have it plugged in first. So let me go ahead and unplug this. I'm going to take this USB stick out, and I'm going to go over to the miner, and I'm going to go fire it up, and we'll see where we're at. All right, guys, we're back, and it looks like Bit has stopped in to say hello. Bit, thank you. I almost forgot I have the equipment on that we need to do mining, and there goes Bit. He's going to go jump around for a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and click on this one, and it looks like it's starting to come up. All right, and I'm going to actually flip this over so you can see it. So once the miner comes up, you'll have to click on the flight sheet and then choose which flight sheet you want to use. The one that we set up earlier, and we'll just click the little rocket, and that will set it off to be working. And that'll take just a second for that to update. Once that updates, y'all, you're mining. That's pretty much it. It's not too difficult. I think one of the best things is that rig.conf is the easiest way to do that. When you put it in, it's pretty straightforward. you just start your miner right up. Then you have to set up a flight sheet and then launch the flight sheet, and you're mining. So in here you can see that 3060 Ti, and that's the one that I had that video from the other day when I did the splitter, and I added that 7th card to that Ravencoin mining rig. Now, it did give me some problems later on. That next day, it did have a glitch. It shut it down. I was at work all day. I didn't know it. When I came home, I checked on it. As a matter of fact, I went to bed that night, and in the morning, I usually just check on everybody, make sure everything is running, and I didn't. And I ran out to work. So while I slept that night and while I was at work that next day, it wasn't mining. And I was so disappointed because, you know, that was almost a full day of mining that I lost out on. So disappointed to say the least. So I took that out. I took that off, and I went ahead and just took that extra card off, and I brought it over to this rig. That's why I have that 3060 Ti, and I'm using that one on this this rig here. So as you can see our numbers, I mean, I can't complain. You know, 35 for each of those 3060 cards, and you know, for the 3060 Ti I've got 42, almost 43. You know, I could fine tune these a little bit more. What I did just to overclock these, and I'm just going to briefly touch on this, I just went to the clock settings right here, the overclock settings, and you can click on it. Click on popular presets and choose your coin, Ethereum. Now you want to make sure you have the proper card listed. We're doing the 3060. So, you know, I'm trying out 2 different settings. So this is the one with the core of 120, which is right here. And then this is the other one with a core of 100. The power limit is from 130 down to 110. And as you can see, I've got the 120 and 100 core, the 2200 and the 2000. So this one is using obviously a little less power. And I am getting about a half a mega hash less, about 0.62 less. Now, that's the question, right? And these are all the questions, you know. At one point, you're going to be mining, and yes, I could put this up to 100% power, and I would get a higher mega hash, of course. But how much more power am I using? And if I'm making, you know, 25 cents a day on each card more money because I have that higher mega hash, but that's also that higher power. If I'm using, you know, 26 cents in power, then I'm losing money. So you want to lower that power down, which then brings your mega hash down. But now I'm making, you know, instead of 25 cents a day, now I'm only making, you know, let's just say 20 cents a day extra because of the overclock and the power settings. But I'm only using 15 cents in power, so I'm actually doing better. So you need to play with these numbers and find that, you know, that perfect middle ground of where you're getting the highest hash rate, but you're using the least amount of power, and that in itself is huge, you know, right? That's the name of the game, is how much money you can make, and how little power you have to use. So I'm gonna do a video on the Hive OS versus 2 miners. Now that's going to be for me on what I'm doing. You know, like I said, there's a lot of variations in there with the Hive OS and how much money they charge. They charge at 3%, and or they'll charge $3 a month, but there's no payout fee. Then you have then you have 2 miners that only has a 1% miner fee, but when you get a payout, there's like a $6 fee per payout. And if you want to have multiple payouts throughout the month, that could add up pretty quick. You know, you do say 3 payouts every, say, 10 days, you're doing a payout. It's an extra $18 a month. So, I mean, really, you're going to have to play with the numbers yourself. What I do and what you do are going to be different. It's not financial advice. You got to figure this all out on your own. You got to figure out your power. You got to figure out, you know, using what to mine, and put in the numbers, put in the power you're using. change it around, see what you're getting here, look at what you're getting at the wall. If you don't have a little meter for the wall, you know, let me grab this thing. Got one over here. This is just a real basic one that you can get, you know, anywhere. I got this off eBay. Really cheap. I don't know, you know, 11, 12 bucks, something like that. Super cheap. But it does tell you what your watts are, so you can really tell how much you're using in your wattage. And then, of course, you could just look at your screen and tell what your mega hash is. And you're going to need to play around with that with your power, and then put those in what to mine and see which one's producing the best for you. Like I said, yeah, you may make more money if your power's at 100%, but you may be using more power and spending more money on that, then you're getting a negative return. So anyway, those are all things for another video. I'm going to put one of those up eventually. I don't know when, but I will get to it, and I will break that down for me and my situation, for the cards and what I'm running. For you, it's almost definitely going to be different, because unless you have the same exact cards paying the same exact rates for electric that I do, I pay, I think, 105 cents per kilowatt hour, which is just a little over 10 cents, 10 and a half cents. You know, maybe you're paying 7 cents. Some people are paying 12 cents. If you live out west, I think it's even higher. So you got to figure that out for yourselves, and work those numbers out. As far as pool fees and payout fees and all that, I will try to put a video together and have something for you, but that'll be in the future. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Give me some thumbs up if you like this video. Tell me I'm doing the right thing, or tell me if I'm doing the wrong thing. I love to see the comments below. I've had a lot of other videos, people asking questions. I do my best to answer them the best I can and help steer people in the right direction if I don't have the answer. And as a matter of fact, I have one guy that just started mining, and I'm still doing some research into what he had asked me. I'd gotten back to him a couple times, and we're just trying to figure out the best answers for his questions. So anything I can do, I love to help, and I appreciate you. So I will see you all next time.